All right, hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of Tech Talks. This time including Seussical, the musical. A lot's changed since last time, obviously, since we're doing a musical and not a play. We're seeing a lot more new different faces and a lot of new different perspectives, actually, because, a lot can change from a Christmas musical to a world such as this, a land of color and large elephants. So let's take it away here. So who am I here with, and what is your role?
You're here with William Bauman, and I play the Cat in the Hat.
Well, so who am I here with today?
My name is Giovanna Mason.
And what is your current position in the show?
I am the stage manager.
Who are we with today?
I'm Delaney Ryan. I play a Wickersham brother in Seussical.
Who am I with here today as well?
I'm Abby.
All right, Abby, I got some questions for you if you'd willing to be answering them. My first question is, what drew you to audition for this show, and how has the perception about Dr. Seuss changed as you've worked alongside the production?
I would say that what drew me to audition for this show was firstly my love for theater. Theater's like my home away from home, and I've made some of my best friends here. And so since I'm a senior, this is like my last chance to kind of do a big fun show with them. And so that definitely was an aspect that drew me in. But I also would say that something that drew me in was that I performed in a production of Seussical Junior when I was in 6th grade.
Oh, really?
And that's the show that kind of kick-started my love for theater. And ever since then, I've participated in theater when and where I could. And so it's kind of like a full circle moment, I would say, to just kind of, I started off with Seussical and I'm ending with it, which I think is really sweet.
Wow, that's really touching.
I think one of the big things was this is my last show. I'm a senior, and so this is the last time I get to perform with all my friends. And I've loved being a part of this department. I've been a part of it since my freshman year, and truly it has been so incredible. I've made so many friends. It feels like a family. It's just an amazing time. So I love productions here, no matter what. And so I was really excited for especially the musical to be our last production of the year.
I did not want to be a stage manager for a very long time. I mean, I didn't even really want to be in any sort of assistant stage managing role.
Really?
But my friends were like, Gio, you should stage manage Seussical. You should stage manage Seussical. And I was like, well, I guess in the summer theater shows, it's very unlikely that I will get stage manager. This is the last show that I'm going to be doing before I graduate. So I should probably try it out because that's gotten me places before. I didn't want to be ASM in the past, and people convinced me to do it, and I loved it. And yeah, that's kind of what led me to do it.
You think it's been working for you?
I think it's been working. It's at least specifically for this show and the way that North does stage managing, because it's different for every school and every department. It's actually not that much work.
What drove me here was I didn't want to run track this year, so
Valid.
I just wanted to do the last musical I can for my senior year, and shot for the role, got it. It's pretty sweet. And then, the world of Dr. Seuss, it didn't really change too much for me. It only grew a little bigger. I just started.
You already had a perception of it in mind, at least.
Yeah, I had a perception. It just included a bunch of new stories I never heard about, like Gertrude McFuzz and Yertle the Turtle.
Did you only hear about the Cat in the Hat before? Before actually auditioning?
I was well aware of the Cat in the Hat.
Go figure. But how did you approach your role, by the way? So talking about character and stylistic approach, knowing Dr. Seuss at least, did that play into anything in how you interpreted your character?
A little bit, yeah. So how I saw Cat in the Hat was that he's more of he's seen as more of an adult figure, but that's more of he has
a very bad role model.
A little bit of a bad role model. I see it more as he's more of a child. He just acts like a child, So he's more so for me, I'm a lot more playful, a lot more kind to other people and stuff like that. But I'm also have a little
soft side. I don't know.
I mean, not really a soft side, but it's more like a mischievous. Yes,
yeah, I getcha. And that's a lot of the cat's personality, at least. It's a lot more silliness than it is, at least, getting stuff done with the main majority of the plot, I'm assuming.
Exactly, yeah. There's a lot of moments where I'm just you're just kind of asking, What am I doing?
Yeah, what is bro doing?
I guess like I kind of took like initially I just kind of went off of what I knew from when I was like little, because I read Horton Hears a Who a lot, so I kind of had a background understanding of like what the Sour Kangaroo was, and then from there Miss Breslin did like a bunch of little like acting things where we kind of reflected on our characters, like their purpose in the show, like what do they give to the plot, and so I kind of took that and I kind of like found ways throughout the show to really showcase that, and I think that was definitely like a big part of how I interpreted my character and the way that I do certain things throughout the show.
I definitely read like a lot of Dr. Seuss books, but I loved Horton Hears the Who, like the movie. I loved that movie and I watched it all the time. And so the Wickersham Brothers, like I took a little bit of their like playfulness and their like teasiness from it. I think they're a little bit more mean in like the movie than they are in like our interpretation of it. I think ours are just like a little more playful and a little more like fun and whimsical. Like yeah, they're kind of mean, but it's not.
They're like they're not that mean.
Yeah, they're not like, it's not to be mean. It's just kind of like they like messing with people, but it's not like they're like,
I'm gonna beat you up.
Yeah.
You're the worst person ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, what do you think is the hardest part about your at least performance in your mind?
Yeah, I think the hardest part for like especially this role in our show is the dancing. I think the physicality, especially of like just this character, because the Wickershams are monkeys. They're we have to be very like in our dancing is like very
active.
It's very stylized. We're very like low to the ground to like be more monkey like. And also I'm in a lot of numbers in this show, and I'm in a lot of dance numbers because the Bird Girls and the Wicks are kind of like somewhat featured dancers.
It is tiring. Oof.
Do you have to do a ton of acrobatics or like?
I do a lot of acrobatics, but like who knew like smiling, bouncing around, and like I'm always in like super good mood, and I'm always moving around every time I'm on stage, and that it draws actually a lot of energy out of me, because then not only am I doing that with standing there, but like in my dance moves, like you could see me adding.
It takes a chunk out of you.
Yeah, I'm adding a lot more expressions through the movements and stuff like that, so I have my own little flair. And it takes a lot of energy.
Probably like the physical demands, because we rehearse for like hours on end, late into the night. It gets very tiring. And on top of that, I have like a bunch of schoolwork, so it can be a little difficult to manage that sometimes. And so I'm very tired. But specifically for the kangaroo, I would say probably the vocal demands.
Really?
Just because, I have belted before, but never in a way like this. And so for the Sour Kangaroo, she belts and wails like practically every time she sings. And so I'm kind of maneuvering my way around that and kind of learning how to do that like sustainably and healthily took a lot of work.
I think it's just staying on top and making sure that my script that I call the cues from is organized. And when I also simultaneously talking over headset and directing the show, because everyone always has questions of what they're supposed to be doing because we're still learning. So yeah, that, especially telling the mics people down here, because I can see the battery levels in every single mic up there. I can see which that are low. I have to tell them like, oh yeah, number 5, number 7, number 11, and that's balancing like that. And also calling the show is probably the hardest part.
It's very overwhelming, I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
Yeah, it's okay, but yeah, it's pretty.
It's manageable.
Yeah, manageable, but it can get hard.
And knowing the initial Broadway start Seussical had, at least like panning with audiences initially when it debuted,
I am aware.
and leading it to at least being a high school favorite, what do you think makes Seussical at least special?
Yeah, because when it first debuted in 2000, it did not go over well with audiences, and I think it's because it's more of like it's supposed to be a little bit of like a smaller scale community theater, high school theater kind of thing, and it can be done anywhere. It can be done. Like Seussical Junior can be done in your elementary school's auditorium with people wearing T-shirts, and 3 people.
But it's really versatile.
Yeah, it's incredibly versatile. I think that's what makes it so popular, and the fact that it's kid-friendly.
I think honestly it's down to its core, it's like the message, like just the idea of like being able to be so creative and like to think whatever you want to think, and also there's so many stories in it. I think that's another big thing is there's so many different elements of Dr. Seuss that they put into this one thing, And I think it's super cool because basically at the end of the day, like what all the actors on stage are doing is like telling a story. It's almost like you're like reading.
It's creatively unique.
Yeah, and it's like you're reading the Dr. Seuss books. Like, yeah, we are these characters, but we're down to it. We're storytellers who are playing these characters, kind of. And I think that's a really cool aspect that like not a lot of shows have.
I'd say it's just like a whimsical just type of show. You know,
You can't go wrong with it.
You can't go wrong with it. I mean, it's like family friendly. And like and you're still having a blast, because usually family friendly means you can't do a lot of fun stuff.
Oh, of course.
But like with this show, like it hits the line, and it's like family friendly, but it's also just fun.
I think like it's fun, like spontaneity. You never really know what's gonna happen next in the plot. Like it always is like jumping around. Like it's easy enough to follow, but there's always like there's like cliffhangers that leave you wondering like what's gonna happen next, and that element to the show I think really like draws in an audience and keeps them really wondering and keeps them engaged. The songs are fun, and they have a bunch of like we have our like softly spoken like Notice Me Horton, and like all the Gertrude songs, and then we have like these elaborate like funky numbers like Monkey Around. And
they all play into each other.
Yeah, and so there's a bunch of different like musical dynamics that really play into it there, and I think that really helps with kind of bringing the show together.
Yeah. What do you think is the main message or more do you want audiences to take away from this production?
I would say, this might sound a little cliche, but this really kind of resonated with me, but I would say that there are no limits to your creativity and what
based on all the other songs as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you have your the things you can think, where you're kind of just like thinking of these like dynamic things that seem a little like crazy and outlandish. But Dr. Seuss kind of touches on that, and he's just like, hey, like these things are normal, like these are kind of like what make you you.
I think honestly just that it's okay to like have fun, like no matter like how old you are, how young you are, like you can always have fun, you can always be creative, you can always be thinking about new things and just having a good time and like making the most out of life.
I think the message of creativity, wanting to
break free from a stereotype, man.
Maybe, yeah, that's kind of what it's like, to not change yourself, especially with like the story of like Gertrude wanting to change herself, but it ultimately makes her holds her back. I think to let yourself be creative and to honestly like be yourself, even though it's a very old message, it still holds true, and I think it's still important now.
There's still a lot to take away, even though obviously Seussical may be a little bit dated as now.
Yeah.
And anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think this is going to be a great show. I'm really looking forward to it. We've put a lot of hard work in, and this is honestly one of the least stressful shows I have ever done. It's going great.
Happy to hear.
Yeah, I'm so proud of everyone.
And that wraps up Tech Talks. Thank you so much for watching.
Bye.
I'll see you on the next one, or at least the next historian. We'll see you on the next one.
Ooh.
Until then, we'll be seeing you on this next edition of Tech Talks. Bye-bye. As you've
You have
worked
to do this again. You didn't ask me what my character was.
hot off with the crowd. I shouldn't have cut it.
That was fine.
And I don't know.
You're like losing it.
Let me do it.
No.
Hey guys, welcome back to another rendition.
You're gonna drag this on.
Tech
You're
Talk.
gonna drag this on. You're gonna drag this on.
Episode of Tech Talk, we'll be talking about Seussical and musical, which is a little bit different.
Get out of here.
Tasty.
Again, who are you? And, actually, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna. Go away. Go away.
I have to eat and I have to start getting ready. I do not have
Go over there.